Hey, I'm Amy. I crochet and sometimes make videos about it. I've seen a few videos of people unraveling old sweaters to reuse the yarn from them, which is a genius idea. And I've really been wanting to try that even though I already have more yarn than I know what to do with. My mom gave me this old Aeropostale cardigan. It's probably from around 2014. The arms are super tight and it fits really weird. And I was literally getting ready to give it to Goodwill one day when it dawned on me that this would be the perfect sweater to unravel and repurpose. I'm going to start with the ribbing around the collar, and I actually just noticed it's already coming undone exactly where I need it to. I actually just started knitting and I know one stitch, so I don't really know how this is supposed to come apart. Okay, so I have to remove this seam before I can actually unravel all of this, it seems. So then I have to take off this whole piece pretty much before I can unravel that piece. So this is how far I've gotten. I'm kind of stuck right now because I couldn't get the seam to keep unraveling and I cut it and I lost the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and unravel all of this for now. And I still don't have an end for it, so I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't get too messy. Okay, so that didn't help, but I did find the end again, so I'm just gonna keep taking the seam off. I finally made it down to this next seam, so I basically unseamed the part from like here to here, and now I can start unraveling it properly from this end, I think. Nope, I have to do this seam first. Then I'll have a rectangle that I can unravel. It turns out that this seam is actually really easy to remove. So I almost have my very long rectangle. It's just attached to this a little bit, and I need to get it unattached. Sometimes, and this happens with like crochet sweaters too, when you're unraveling them, the yarn can get like stuck. It feels like it might be in like a knot or something, and it helps a lot to just like pull the sides around it to like loosen it up. I also might use eventually, if I need to, a crochet hook for some reason. For example, if I was having that problem that I just described, if you place like a crochet hook every couple of stitches, it makes it a lot easier to, it like holds the tension for you to unravel it better. I should probably start wrapping up my yarn ball now before it gets to be a disaster. This is actually going like a lot easier than I thought it would now that I have the seam undone. However, at the The places like this where it was stuck together, it is inside the other seam, but all I need to do is cut that seam. I just need to make sure I don't cut the wrong piece of yarn. So far so good, as promised. Here's our big old rectangle. Here's our first ball of yarn from the right side of the collar. I have unraveled all of the collar that goes around like the entire outside. This is from the sides, and then this is from the neck area. I think it took me like an hour and a half. It would have been a lot faster had I known that there's like a specific thread or two of them I think that I had to cut, that it made it super easy to just like get that seam out of there. I didn't have to like pick at it with a needle or anything. It just like zipped right out. I think I'm gonna do the arms next. I was gonna do the bottom ribbing, but it is actually one piece with the body, so that makes it a little bit easier. I've taken one arm off. It took me an hour because of the seams. It was sewn together like 3 different ways. There was a thread, there were 2 pieces of white yarn, and I think there was a piece of brown yarn in there too. Here's the yarn I got from the first arm. It's less than I thought it would be, but I guess the arms were really, really tight, so that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and unravel the other arm, and then after that, we'll pick up with the front panels of the body. Okay, so I found the magic thread again. Here's the arm. Here's the magic thread that I couldn't seem to find for most of this sweater. And it just like undoes the seam so easily. Well, anyway, that was like half an hour's worth of work with the last arm. Maybe not half an hour, but it was a lot. This is what it looks like after taking off both of the arms. Here is the yarn I got from both the arms. And this is the yarn that I got from the collar once again. This is a lot less yarn than it would take to crochet a sweater, and I really want to get into knitting sweaters, but I don't know if I have the patience. I've unraveled the front 2 panels, and this is the yarn from both of the front 2 panels. I meant to roll them up separately so you could see how much yarn was in each of the front panels, but I accidentally put them together. So just imagine these but in half. And that means I am down to my final piece, which is the back panel. It is so small. I'm excited to finally finish this. This is the last row of the entire sweater. So this is the yarn for the entire back panel of the sweater. I think it took me about an hour and a half to undo. And this is the yarn from the entire sweater. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They're not the same size, so I don't know why I counted them, but not bad. Okay, so for a better point of reference, it is 371 grams of yarn. So I'm actually really happy with the way that turned out. I thought that I was gonna end up with a lot of like small strands of yarn a couple times, but it ended up working out, and I'm really excited to use this yarn. It's really soft and I actually really like the colors of it. Thanks for watching. Comment down below if you have any tips for taking apart sweaters because I would really like to do this again.